Drawing 5, 45-degree offset lateral branch. Very similar to the last one. It's on a 45-degree slope to the main body. They call it the header. But this one's going to be offset, off center on this one. So twice the work for this one to obviously make the stretch out for this because it's not symmetrical. Okay, so there is a step-by-step here on page 12. You can kind of go through, and we'll use the same numbering and everything on the way through here. And on page 28, just below number 4 here, we got number 5. We're going to use all these numbers on here. You're going to change up a couple here. Instead of the 30 here, we'll use 10 just to pull this back a little bit so it doesn't overhang so much on the one side. So anyway, trying to save a little bit of space on the paper. And instead of the 8 millimeters here, we want 12.5. So that's really important there. We pulled it back, and the reason we pulled it back was because this ended up landing on center. So it just eliminated an extra line on here because it's going to get really busy with lines. So we need to drop all these element lines down. So that, anyway, that helps with that. The rest are good here. So pretty similar to the last one, 120. For the length here, 115. That's going to work. I know the last one was 100. This one's a little bit longer. It's an 80 diameter and a 50 diameter here for the branch. Now this height here of 70 really doesn't matter because it's just element lines anyway. We're not taking any lengths off of here. It's just an intersection. For this one here, we're going to do the same. We're going to try to put this pattern off on this slope here, the same as the last one. And we're going to try to do the whole pattern, which not going to be fun just because of the amount of measuring and stuff that we're going to have to do here. So let's get going here. So I've drawn a little bit already just to save some time here. The baseline, we're going to do the same. So we're going to come up 30 with this baseline here. And I know it's going to get real close here trying to get this whole pattern down here, but we're maxing out this page here. So 30 for the baseline here for that. So we're 30 for the base, and we're going to come 30 over and 80 in between. So I've shoved it a little bit further that way. So 80 in between there. Go ahead and just double check, make sure everything's correct. You've got your 80 for your diameter. You've got your 50 for the diameter there and there. You've got your 115 here. So that one's accurate, yep. This is on the 45, so just double checking that. You're going to need these half circles here coming off either side just to get our element lines on. So let's get going. We'll do this pattern here first. So let's bring these down to the cylinder. And the outside one where it touches. That's it, that's done. The next one here, like I said, just where it touches. And we'll number these later. I don't get all tangled up in the numbering here sometimes. Sometimes I don't even number. If you don't have to, I don't even worry about it. But the numbering confuses a lot of people. It even confuses me sometimes. It's a lot of numbering. Sometimes it's easier just to go down one and over one because we're just making a graph pattern anyway, parallel line development. Just making sure each line intersects the correct line. We call this parallel line just because obviously everything's parallel line. Everything's parallel line to the line beside it. Parallel line is just used for mostly cylinders, anything round that's cylindrical shape, as you can see that we've done here so far. Cones are round, but they use radial lines, so that's next year in level 2. Yeah, I just brought all those down there. So anyway, the top ones are good at the top there, and then we'll bring these over. This is where it's going to get tough, just because the lines are so close together. So with this outside one here, as it's flipped, that'll be that one there in the center. Again, just making sure you're accurate as possible. These are going to get real close. Really close. That one's on the top there. And then the top is the top. So really no need to bring that one in, but that is up there. So you can see how close those lines are. They're just extremely close together. Even this one here, it almost looks like it's right on top. Like it just pretty much lines right up. Not going to be much of a difference on that one. So I'm just going to share that one. Looks pretty similar in distance here. The distance here and the distance here, it's going to be split. It's almost going to be unnoticeable down below there, so I'll just line that one up. If I did this on the computer in AutoCAD, obviously it would be a lot more accurate. This one here we're dealing with trying to measure in pencils, and it gets pretty tough sometimes. And the far outside one. That would be the center one there. I always just draw a little line there just to make sure it lines up. Thickness of my pencil on the T-square, sometimes it just grows a little bit. Okay, so let's maybe just do some numbering. Don't want to confuse anybody, so I just want to do the same that's in the book here. So 1 through 12 because it's offset, so let's just go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it just comes back the other way. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then with this one we've got the 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12, and then we're back to 1, 1, 2, and 3. So those lines obviously share there. Okay, so let's go ahead and match the 1 to the 1 here. So there's the 1 coming down below here, so it's on the back side. So this line actually even needs to be extended down to this bottom line here. Again, we're going to kind of share this line right here. So this is this line here on the back side. And let's go ahead and match 2 with 2. So 2 ended up being right on the center at the top. So 2 is actually at the top here. There's 2. And 3. So again, you're just matching 3 and then trying to find 3, which is the next one down, which is this one. And then 4. And here's 4 here. So it's the last one down there. And then 5, second one down. And 6, right on the top. 7, the third one down. Have to extend this line down to here. Okay, so let's just darken those in a little bit. Real tough on the pattern there. So as it's just coming up over the top, you can kind of see how the ends are down. like 1 and 7, they're down on this back side. They're off the center on the back side. So with 1 and 7 down over here, and then it creeps up on top. So right here, you can kind of see how it creeps up on top, and then it's going to come down below. So let's go ahead and do 8 here. So these ones are going to be a little easier because it's not so far apart. So there's 8 there. So let's go ahead and do that. 8 and 8. So this one comes over and it's right there. So 7, 8, and there's 9. Again, we'll just match this up to the other side. There's 9. And over 1, down 1. Number 10, all the way down at the bottom here. It's the furthest one. So right there. Number 11. So just tracking this across. Number 12. And we've already done 1 up there. Okay, that's busy. Alright, let's go ahead and make the wrap for this. As accurately as possible. And this is the 50 again, so we're just going to do the 50 times pi. That'll equal the 157. And let's just double check that it fits in there, and it's pretty much right on the corner. It doesn't get too much closer than that. Let's see here. Just down about 1 millimeter. Just barely fits on the page, but it does. Actually, before we do that, and we've done this before, so 12 spaces times 15 is going to equal to 180. So we're going to keep this here and go to the 180 mark. So we're going to need to extend this line, or not unless we go the other way. That might even be better, then we're not drawing over top of a drawing. It's already busy enough down there. And there's the 180. And again, just mark 15 here. 15, 30, 45, so on and so forth. Every 15 millimeters. Okay, let's extend those down. This is going to be the longest one here. So it looks like we're away from that other drawing, so that's a good thing. So I'm just going to make these about this long. So just that's the longest one there. So I'm going to bring them down fairly far. Right up to that baseline. And then just all the way down. As long as they're past the longest point there. Well, that really matters. Okay. Now, we should still keep the shortest one. Wanted to double check. Yeah. So they went with the 1 on that one. So we'll number 1, 2 all the way across. So the same. Let's just get rid of the 7 here. We know the 7 is there, but we're gonna have to share that with the 1 as well. So using here, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1 at the end. Okay. Let's connect the dots here. So 1 with 1. And this will be an individual line for each one. Make sure you pick the 1. The 1 spot, and you got the 1 on the other side. So just remember to do that. The number 2 here. Pretty close, it's just up a little bit. These are different all the way through, right? Let's find the 3. Here. And the 4. And again, you're just matching the 4 to the 4. There's the 5. It's good to have good lighting because you get a lot of shadows off the squares. So a little bit of shadows here, I know, in the camera, but doing the best we can here. We got the 6, 7 is here. There you go. I'm just trying to be accurate here. I get a little longer at 8. There's 9. 10 is just back a little bit. And it's going to start coming up here real fast. There's 11. There's 12. And there we go. We'll snake that in. As always, that's always a fun part. Make sure you grab the correct side of your snake. And again, we're trying to bend this to line up to these lines as close as possible. It's probably part of the video where we can put in fast forward. Like I said, always a challenge. There we go. A little bit off there, but we'll live with that for today. We'll identify that after, but that's our stretch out for our branch here. Now let's go and see if we can go ahead and do this whole pattern. This one here is going to be a tough go. They make it look easy in the book, and it is not. So just because it's so busy here with lines. And we're just dropping all these lines down to the bottom. So take every one of these points here and just bring those down. Some of these might end up doubling up if they land on top of one another. Always a tough go. There we go. And again, we normally don't always do a whole pattern for these, just because we'd end up just sticking a branch on top and tracing around it. Sometimes the easier thing to do, but if it's large, it's difficult to do. Sometimes you can just put in 4 points to line that up and then go from there. Okay, so now the fun of trying to measure to each point on the way around here, and I don't have the most flexible ruler. I'm going to say that's 36, and I'll go with 28 on this one. And we're measuring to center here, so the 1 and the 7. So I had to double check there. This is that almost the same as that last drawing. I'm going to say 13. Is that the same distance off center? So that should be similar-ish. Yep, 13. $22. And oh, it looks like we're 26. Okay, so now we're trying to divide off here. So number 10 is 36 over, so we're going to take the 10 here, where that would be. So number 10 is over here, so matching the 10 and the 10. And I'm going to put the bigger side on the way up here. Okay, so here's the 10. At the 10, I'm going to come up 36, which is here. And that'll be the longest one. And we're going to have to go through and just do each of these here. So 9 and 11 are going to be 28. So 9 and 11 here. So you're coming down to find 9. There's that one. And we're going to go 28. And 11, which is the longer one, the lower one. And 28. And number 12, which will be this lower one here, 12. That one's 13 over here. Number 8 on the other side, so we got to do the other side here. 8 over here is also 13, so following this down, making sure you're on the 8 here, so that's the furthest one out. That's going to be 13. Right there. Okay. So now we're done the 8, so we can go to the 1. So here's the 1 here, and the 1 is right on the 1 here, so there's no dimension or anything coming off of that. So everything is coming from the one here over. We're just measuring over from that. We'll go to the 2. That one's 13. So here's the 2 here on top. The 2 will be on this back side here. So there's that 13. And so we've already done the big side. We're doing the 3 here. There's the 3 here. We're doing the 22, 13. Let's just make sure we've got the correct one here, the 3s. Up here. Oh, sorry, there's the 3 there. 22. And 4, it's the 26, so here's the 4 here. And off of here, so we're going to go 26 on this one. And 5, we're here on this one. We'll do the 22. And the 6 here, that's the 13. There's the 6 up here, and that's the 13, and then up to 7 here. So 7 was here at the end, and we're just going to go to center here for that. Okay, so it's a bit of a blobby looking shape there, but it is a shape. We'll go ahead and try to pen this in the best we can. Obviously not going to be easy. Oh, that one looks pretty close. Just going to do the best we can here just to try to save a bit of time here too. Again, this is the part you almost fast forward here just because it's a little slow. Let's connect the dots. Last one here. Alright, so there it is. Let's identify this. It's a bit of a long drawing, I know, but it won't take longer than others. And identify here as well. Again, put your name, the date it was created, your project name. This one was a 45 offset lateral. Branch, I guess. We're on drawing 5. again, I'm just going through the list here that you guys have here. Full pattern, center lines, bend lines, so roll direction. 7 will be center. And we're going to roll to 50. And again, if you were to roll this in the plate rolls, you would have to roll this as a cylinder, and then you would cut the shape after. Put some quarter marks on here. Some shear lines, burn line, and that pretty much does that one. Over here we'll have a center line coming through this way, so this would be a center line, and we're going to use 4 and 10, I guess, as the other center lines. So we kind of have 2 center lines on this one, so depending on how you line this up, 4 and 10. So 4 is down over here and 10 is over here. So how are you going to create a center to get this pattern on here? That's the kind of bit of the difficult part. That would be the same as, I measured off a center here for this pattern instead of the center line here. So I could have actually measured off of here, and we could have done another center line on here and pushed this one out. But now what we're going to have to do with this pattern is we'll have to come off this 13 mils, draw a line here to line this pattern up, because we've used this as a center line here and here. Also it created a little bit of space here that it saved. If I came off center, I would have been a lot higher up, which still would have worked, but so just lining that up on center there is what we did for that one. So just using our quarter marks here. I guess we got 2 center lines really. So this one here could be a center line as well. Just marking up on the other side. Okay, just maybe be able to mark or lay that out on center where that's going to land on center. The other thing I guess you could do is you could create another center line off of center, and you could use, say, this line over here from center, because then you can just measure from the end over, draw a line, go that way. But it really doesn't matter if you measure from the end over this distance, just to get the line, just a line, get your distance over there so you're getting in the correct location. So just a couple quarter marks there. And then once that's done, you can check your pattern, making sure your pattern fits. You can see I'm a little bit off there, but that's alright. And then your hole pattern. I don't have the hole pattern on me here right now, but I'll have to make one, I guess, on the computer because I don't have one. And that's it. Drawing 5. That's complete. Alrighty. Thank you.